G'day there, welcome to the RaeSide. My name is Hannah. It is great to be back. Another week of Star Wars fun. Got some interesting Star Wars things to talk about this week. And of course, Andor episode 6. How fantastic was that? How epic. Episode 6, The Eye, was an incredible episode. I hope you all enjoyed that episode. I sure did. Which, coming from episode 5, I wasn't too crash hot on. But episode 6 definitely brought a lot more interest and intrigue, and of course just action. And people love action, and I love action, so it was awesome. But we have a great day ahead of us. We're going to be making some Halloween-esque candy, or lollies, as I would call it, here in Australia. So it's going to be a great time talking with you all. Let me know who's in the chat. How you doing today? Welcome, Philosopher King. Great to have you back, my friend. Dave H, as always, the legend. G'day there. Gotta say, the writers for episode 6 exceeded my predictions and expectations. Bravo to them already. Yeah, I think episode 6 was just such a great it was a showdown. It was just such a great expression of fantastic writing. I'm totally with you there. And Benjamin Matzer Green loved number 6. I really enjoyed the tension in number 5. Yes. Now that's something I would love to talk about, actually, because that was something I think I realized watching episode 6. And I say I wasn't. I that's my saying. I'm not too crash hot on number 5. But when I watched episode 6, it made a lot more sense. Episode 5, like it made sense that we spent a whole episode getting to know these characters, getting to understand them, spend time with them, just have dialogue and sit down conversations with these characters. So it made episode 6 a lot more punchy, I think, with the slow pace of episode 5, and then episode 6 to be this big wham, high intensity, high stakes episode. Totally agree with you. Jared finally caught up to Andor. Hello. Good to have you here, my friend. Let me know your thoughts. Keith, welcome. Was happy to see you enjoy 6 after not enjoying 5 so much. Yeah, I'm happy I enjoyed it too. Yeah. And definitely, I think, there's so much Star Wars out there. There's going to be things that we just maybe don't vibe with as much. And even though I didn't vibe with specifically episode 5, I've actually really loved the whole series so far. So that, I know there's some Star Wars creators and fans out there that kind of go, oh, it's like, I don't like this one tiny thing, I'm not going to watch it. But I was still just, if anything, I was really excited for episode 6 because I didn't enjoy episode 5 too much. And like I said, I feel like episode 5 makes sense now to me. I'm like, yeah, we had to be this slow paced, really quiet, low leveled episode to kind of get that punch, get that wow factor of episode 6. Welcome, Rick. Great to have you here. You got a lot of things to say. Let us know. We're pretty much going to have, because there was no, we usually do an after show after the episode, but we didn't have an after show last week, which was insane because it was like the most insane episode, but we didn't have an after show last week. Had some things to do. So today's the day we get to talk about it. Let's talk about what happened in episode 6. So much happened. 6 was a great third act payoff. Yeah. And I think that's something we'll definitely talk about today is, the way this show's laid out. It's not, even though it's episodes, it's not as episodic as, The Mandalorian per se, where each episode, especially in season 1, it was very much its own thing and its own episode. And you can just watch a random episode of Mandalorian and you'll get it. This show is very much built in arcs. 1 to 3 it's on Ferrix, but we're setting up this whole thing with Cassian. And then episodes 4 to 6 was, the same thing. It was like its own little arc here. And, from where we kind of left episode 6, we're definitely jumping into a different time, a different part of the story now. So, we're going to go off world. Cassian's, split off from this little Aldani group. Split off. Most of them were killed, and then he killed one of them as well. So it's only really, it's Vel and Cinta left, right? Yeah, it's only Vel and Cinta left of that Eldani group. So, I wonder if will we see them again? Vel and Cinta, will Cassian run into them again? I'm sure if Cassian, guessing by if Cassian's still involved with Luthen, I feel like they will run into each other again at some point. But let me know what you think. Will we see that Vel and Cinta duo again? Philosopher King, I think this series will make a great rewatch binge experience. Definitely, I think like when I rewatched episodes 1 to 3, that was made so much more sense altogether. I haven't done a rewatch of 4 to 6, but I same thing. I feel like that's gonna make so much more sense. And sitting down through episode 5, even though I didn't enjoy it as much the first couple times around, I feel like I'll just maybe connect with it a bit more because I'm like I kind of know what's coming and it fits all together. It's all it all fits nicely. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. How many things would we write about? I feel like a lot of people said we all said Nemec would die, which to be honest, I still believe that going into the episode. But then we're nearing the episode end, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna get alive, like gotta get away alive. And then of course, like that moment he gets crushed by the credits was just so shocking. But then the fact that they took him to a doctor, I was like, oh no, that's a very Star Wars trope. Like they're gonna go to this special doctor and he's gonna make him live. But then, to keep like it was like we got let down, Nemec's gonna die from the crashed thing. Oh, they're going to the doctor. We're gonna be saved. No, the doctor couldn't save him. He's gonna die anyway. It's like it was very, very up and down. But I like that. I think that made a lot of tension, made a lot of interest in the episode. Really, really interesting. Welcome, Julie. Welcome. Great to have you back. Did you hear the theory that Cinta kills the hostages? Oh, yes. Now, isn't that a talking point? I just never got that impression. Never got that thought in my brain until I saw a tweet of it somewhere. And I was like, what is this? What do you... And then I like on a rewatch, I was like, they're really to me there isn't enough suggesting that she killed them, but I feel like that would have been more hinted at if that was going to be like an interesting part of the story, but it wasn't. So I don't know, but convince me otherwise if you think differently. Dave, in my opinion, Andor is not Star Warsy, more character and drama driven. Yeah, and that's a big conversation. And I think that was actually a couple of my points. I mean, I went very in depth. We did a 3-hour show on the Star Wars Underworld 2 weeks ago about episode 5, and that was some of the comments I made. It wasn't too Andor isn't too Star Warsy for me, so that's like my interest is just not fully attached to it. But I say that not as a bad thing. That's some people say that's a good thing that it's a little less Star Warsy. But then what is Star Wars? What is Star Warsy? Big question. Big question. Oh my gosh, yes, Mascanata's Dr. Cousin couldn't save him. Yeah, totally. Like that was like Mars's like species, right? That was her kin of some sort. I don't know, maybe. I'm dying to ask you and everyone, total different subject. Did you see the various time lengths of the Tales of the Jedi? Ah, yes. Yeah. So actually, I did see those. I should have had some sort of graphic to put up. We can go off topic for a second. Yeah, they seem fairly short to me. I think the longest one was like 17 minutes, but there was like 14 minutes and 13 minutes. So it definitely seems like, I think there's a quote somewhere. I think Dave Filoni said this, that, they're kind of short poems of these stories, which makes sense. They're just little morsels, little tasters of, a little window into this story of Dooku and Qui-Gon and Ahsoka training and things like that. So yeah, interesting that they're so short, but I mean, I think people are going to love them. I think Tales of the Jedi is going to be very, very well liked. And I definitely think we could see a season 2 of that. Definitely. We'll get into that a little later on, more in depth. I think, Julie, that's a good question though. Do the hostages see Cinta? Would they have been able to identify her as a rebel? I mean, yeah, well, like they definitely saw her. Like she was like with them in the room. But I don't know. I still can't make the argument that she killed them. I still can't do that. Before we continue our wonderful conversation, we have our project we got to do today, and usually the thumbnail or the title kind of hints at what we're going to do. And what we're doing today is in neither. So I left it a bit of a surprise today. We are going to be making some Marshmallow Stormtroopers, and to the bulk of the conversation, we'll be talking about the clones coming up in Andor. So I thought, let's make something clone-y. So we're going to be making some Marshmallow clones. So let's get our action cam in here. Everybody, welcome Action Cam to the show. Love it. We're gonna be making some. I've got some. Yeah, just marshmallow clones, really. So what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be making the little visor and the little details of the clone on the marshmallows. Halloween doesn't really exist here in Australia, but I know a lot of you guys are from the US or North America, that region, and celebrate Halloween. So I thought this was, a lovely sweet treat to celebrate the upcoming Halloween holiday. But yeah, welcome back, Action Cam. Different angle today as well. We're over here. Usually Action Cam's coming from this direction. Action Cam's over here now, so we're over here. And also, I just like to show off. Check this out. I got this from my parents this over the weekend for my birthday. It's a Death Star cheese board, and I thought, what better way to present what I make on the show on a Death Star cheese board? So they really nailed that one. That was an awesome gift. Loved it. So that's what we're going to be making our marshmallows on. So of course you could do this like with normal marshmallows, but I thought bigger marshmallows, like less room for mistake, right? So that's what we're gonna be trying today. Oh, so what's in the, I haven't watched the chat. Hang on. Rick, I think it's totally Star Wars, but it's taken the conflicts that we maybe have gotten a little alarm to, and maybe a little gut level conflicts again. That's a good point. I mean, I feel like Star Wars has gone in very many different directions over the years. These are decently sized marshmallows. These are going to be great. I'm going to use all the white ones. There are colored ones in here. Is that the same? Yeah, it's white. Is that the same? I can't tell. Yeah, no, that's green, right? Yeah. Little morsels. Yeah, that's a word I don't use enough. Little morsels of Star Wars. That'll be Tales of the Jedi. Let's see how many clones we can make. I mean, I'm just using all the white ones, but I guess we could use there's yellow and pink and things like that. But we'll start with the white ones because again, I don't know how long this will take me. Keith the Ray, Action Cam. I know, I love a bit of Action Cam. Actually, we don't have the Where's the little name? Where's the little name? Oh, it's because the comments are there. That's right. It's the reaction cam. Hurrah! I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jared. Turned a big old 23. How old was Anakin in? Is that the age of Anakin in Revenge of the Sith? Is that age? I don't know. I'll look into that. Someone find out who's 23 in Star Wars. What can I relate to? I did. I like literally only got Star Wars gifts. I got Star Wars mug, socks. I got the Princess and the Scoundrel book. Started that. That's fantastic. And in the background here, this is come up here, Boba. This is fantastic. Got this from my brother. It's actually a garden ornament of Boba, but I thought no, this is gonna look fantastic in the show, and I left the little gift bow on top there. So we got our Boba back here, so he's gonna be standing guard here, standing guard for the show. Love him, and I left his little bow on there. Lovely. Thank you so much. Big happy bee. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Thank you, Benjamin. Amazing. Oh, he's 22. He was 22 in the Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I didn't know that. But that's okay. Man, there's so many comments today. Okay. Action Cam. I like what they did with Skeen in episode 6, the way he tried to get Andor to steal. The score was a bit unexpected. Glad Andor went solo on him. Yeah, that was a really, I never trusted Skeen. But I was still very shocked, but it kind of made sense in the end. I was like, oh yeah, he's kind of a shifty guy. But I was just as shocked that Cassian shot him. I was actually more inclined that Cassian was going to join him, to be honest. But yeah, Skeen, he was an interesting character, very, very interesting character. Apparently I have. That was the best twist. Skeen being full of crap and Endor totally smoking him without a second thought. Yeah, that was, and I think that showed a lot of the character arc of Cassian. So we're seeing a little bit of that development, changing some things. He kind of went into this Aldani arc quite. He was a solo guy, fending for himself, but he kind of. It was purely just that Skeen being like, hey, I'm not in this for the rebellion of it. I'm just like trying to find my own way. What did he's like, we're all in a hole and we're gonna climb over each other's back, something to that effect. And Cassian's like, nah, nah, not about it, not about it. So we're seeing a little bit of that, character development there. It seems like Skeen expected Andor to be in it for the money when he admitted he was a mercenary and totally misunderstood him and got shot for it. Yeah, I mean, it made sense. It's like the whole thing where it's like, yeah, Cassian like told them and then Skeen like figured it out. It's like, okay, this guy's in it for the money. It makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of the Skeen came to that conclusion that Cassie might join him. But yeah, pretty wild. Yeah, he did pay for it. Yeah, didn't he? Got shot for it. That was the best. Oh yeah, no, I just read that one, right? The plants will be okay. Hannah has the force ever. Thank you. I do. I will guard them with my life. Do you have a lightsaber? I know you must have one. Well, I only have these ones up here, which are like $40 from like Target, about at least 12 years old now. As in the lightsabers are 12 years old. But I don't have like a legit like Black Series, or what is that, Black Series? What's it called? Or like Hasbro or anything like. I don't have any lightsabers, like replica ones, legit ones. Philosopher King. Okay, there's so much chatter today. I'm so excited. I keep forgetting we like got something to do today, but I'm enjoying the conversation too much. The one thing I'm curious about is how this show is going to take Andor from being a self-interested to being all in for the rebellion. I'm expecting it has something to do with his sister's fate. I agree. I think that's going to come into play. The thing with the sister. I think she's not going to be alive. I think he's going to find out she died. Something about the Empire, and then he's going to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to commit myself to like the rebellion, because the rebellion is going to like bring the Empire down and like avenge my sister, kind of deal. I think that's what's going to happen. We're calling it now. But yeah, let me. I like to hear everyone else's thoughts of what Cassian. What is it going to be for Cassian to kind of change his mind. On the rebellion. Okay, so let's get started here. Now, you might remember these from our edible lightsaber episode, where I kind of used these for the detailing of the lightsabers. We're going to use that as the details of the clone helmets. Or I'm going to I say clone. I think I'm going to do Stormtrooper, but I think we could do both. Let's do both anyway. Or maybe I should start with clone. Do we have a blue in here? We've even got a blue, so we could even do some details as such. But yeah, you guys remember these from the edible lightsaber episode, right? Right. This is a very Pinterest thing, by the way. This is a very like I saw this years ago when I was like a kid, and they're like still, people still do this now. It would be great for like if you have like a Halloween, even just a party. I was gonna say Halloween party, even just a normal like just birthday party, or just make them for fun. Just make them and eat them yourselves. That would be great even as well. Oh, the manifesto. That's right. Yes, something to do with the manifesto. I think you're onto there something, Rick. I'd agree. Seeing massive marshmallows on the Death Star seems a tad Ghostbusterish. Just in time for Halloween. Thank you. I feel like I'm nailing this Halloween thing, seeing as I've never celebrated or like done anything to do with Halloween. I hope I'm on the track there. Geek Ledger, welcome to the show. Glad you can make it. I agree. His sister, or the woman who took him and raised him, their death will push him. Always thought it. Yeah, actually that's a good point. That his mum, or kind of adoptive mother, Marva, she's a pretty interesting character, and there's a lot of like kind of emotion and tension there, for which I couldn't quite read fully. I gotta focus here. So yeah, I feel like there's going to be something with either of those characters. I feel like I've started too high. Okay, I'm going to start off by trying to do Captain Rex, because I don't know. I just like he's the greatest. Let's see how well I can detail this. I don't know if I've got the scaling right though. I'm worried about how well I've scaled this. I hope Mon Mothma reads from the manifesto when she finally declares the rebellion. That would be cool. How does this look again? That would be cool if she, like, reads it and, like, was like, "Oh," like, she kind of agrees with the ideas or whatever. That would be a cool little touch there. Oh, no. Okay. This is just the start of my little clone visor here. Maybe we should have done one on a colored one to do a test. I've said this before on the show, but just so you know, I never what we make on here, I never test beforehand, and I just get all the things, and I'm like, "We're gonna do it on the show." So that's why it's quite a raw, organic show, I hope, that, this stuff just happens live. If I stuff up, it stuffs up live. Ugh. Oh, no, I feel like I've one side is longer than the other, but that's okay, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it. And then what happens? I didn't put the photo on the screen because I thought, you know what? We don't need to compare. We'll just trust me that. Well, actually, you can tell me how much like a clone this is going to look. And then it goes out into the little mouthpiece. How does it do that? Okay. I feel like if you're gonna, you could also do this as just a non-Star Wars way and just make little ghosts, maybe just do like little eyes as little ghosts. There's a Halloween thought for you there. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little longer, and I'm gonna cut back in. Again, this is one of those shows where I feel like I'm gonna just have an incredible amount of concentration for most of the show. But, I'll read the comments in just a second. Let me finish this little piece. I feel like this side is shorter. Ah! Okay, how we looking there? How are we looking on the level from 1 to clone, uh, screen accurate clone? My favorite part was Nemec's death. Okay, wait. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's morbid, but great. It's not like that. Just the irony and symbolism of the dude my dad labeled as a space communist being crushed under a little ton of credits. Yeah, what? That's actually a really good point. I just thought of that, the way he was actually hurt by under money, under credits, under currency and economy, and the symbol of that is really, really interesting. Crushed by capitalism. Eh? That's really, really interesting. I like that. I like that thought. It is very symbolic. I think his circumstances are going to push him toward either running or joining the rebels because the ISB are onto him and Bix and Marva are going to be in danger. I definitely think so. And, if we think about who else could be not not helping him, against him, we got our Cyril Khan in his mum's guest room, getting all angry, and he's got that little puck of Cassian, and he's not too. It seems he's not too happy. So I feel like that's how Cyril Khan is going to get back into the story a little bit. He's going to team up with Deidre maybe, and really look to hunt Cassian down, and maybe know that if they put Marva or Bix in danger, that he'll come to them. I feel like that could definitely be how the story runs. What did we think of that whole eye ceremony? Yeah, that ceremony was awesome. I very much reminiscent of like what we saw of the Tuscans in the Book of Boba Fett. I loved it. Different culture, different religion, different kind of different culture of people. I really think it was a cool couple of scenes. Love the music as well. I don't know if you watched my reaction to the episode, but I could not stop singing along every time that scene came on. Really, really loved it. And I think it is, I think it's just a very classic symbol of, how that, the empire, the capitalist, empirical views are just thrusted upon everyone, and they're trying to like accommodate for the Aldanis, but they're really just oppressed them into nothing. I think it really is a symbol for how oppressive governments don't care about different cultures, different people. Yeah, that was dark. My favorite part was Nemec's death. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm curious if Cassian's search for his sister is going to start again. I feel like so. I think either in this arc or maybe the last arc we'll get, assuming that this will continue in arcs. It'll definitely be a big part of it. Maybe he does it right now. Maybe he leaves where he was on this moon with Vel and just was like, okay, I got credits. Let's go find my sister now. Maybe he does it right now. I thought the ceremony was great. Very what number? The Ewoks. The Ewoks would have loved it. Wow, Ewoks. Wow, how do I pronounce that? Yeah, very very yum. I think. Yeah, I get that too. It's very, very ceremonial. They're kind of around a big event. I love it. I agree. Remember the topic we talked about a month ago? If the Empire was really strong after watching Andor, I firmly believe they are. Hear me out. That's a good point, and that was a big question. Was it when we were doing? It's literally right here too. Was it when we were making our Death Star? We had that conversation. We're talking about are they strong? Are they? They're massive, but it's and they control the galaxy. There we go. I don't know why that was down there anyway. That should be up there anyway. Yeah, are they strong or is it purely just volume they're good at? I mean, if some of the officers might seem weak or is weak, but the system in place is pretty solid. This again, I feel like the system. It's it's seemingly powerful, but it really isn't. It's always a tricky question, that one. That's well, Jared, you got to I got to feel like I'll read them all and then we'll respond to it. Because people only able to circumvent, oh my gosh, can't read, the system are special people from special backgrounds or who are part of the system before. For example, the Ghost Crew, the reason they had a lot of successful missions is because of the special abilities and expertise they have that can turn bad situations around. Then we see the High Spy other rebels, a solid plan. They succeeded, but but without cost, and it almost fails with Cassian knowing the weight of the mechanisms of the transport. So my point is, the Empire feels weak when it's pitted against people born with a special talent. But yeah, the idea might be half baked now, but I feel like I'm onto something. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? The Empire feels weak. Yeah. So essentially, you're saying faced against special talents, they seem weak, but to the general, to the civilian, they're strong. It's impenetrable. I can understand what you're saying because you look like people like the Aldanis. You felt like the Aldanis didn't have any, they couldn't kind of combat what the Empire was, telling them to do, and can't do this, and you can only do it here, and they were like, oh, we're gonna get rid of this whole thing. Should we tell the Aldanis? No, they don't mean anything. It's just, I can kind of understand that. It's it's only against this very specialized crew, like the Ghost Crew, where the Empire does seem weak. And you have ISB agents or, just commanders or whatever that you're like, oh, these guys are pushovers, but it's only because it's against another stronger character. Good thoughts, Jared. Appreciate it as always. I hope Cassian goes back home to pay his debts to his old friends so we can see Bix again, maybe rekindle their relationship while he searches for his sister. Yeah, that Cassian has a lot of. He's got to pay Velch and that guy. Do you remember the Velch, the alien with the vest in episode 1? There's a lot there that I think he's got to go back for. We're definitely going to see Ferrix again. I definitely think that. Marshmallows, yes. Welcome, Joel, by the way. Welcome to Joel. We're making, I'll get back to it in a second. We're making little marshmallow helmets here. Kind of Halloween. Are we going to see clones in Andor? I think it was very suitable. Suiting to the time. The thing is, the Empire is only strong because it managed to weaken everyone else first. In reality, the Empire is a paper tiger empire filled with wimps and weenies. Wow. I love the wimps and weenies. That's a phrase I never used to say. The First Order would later have to take it out on the capital of the Republic and only rule parts of the galaxy for 1 year, and only 1 year. The only thing keeping the Empire together was the Emperor and Vader. Once they were dead, the entire galaxy rose up and the Empire fell 1 year after Endor. Really, the Empire kept people in line. Oop, I'll pull this up. Really, the Empire kept people in line of fear and nothing else. Yeah, and I think that's maybe that's a thing that we have to learn. It's like, yeah, the Empire ruled with fear, and it's showing. We can take that away as people. How powerful fear can be if we let it rule our lives. Okay, now I'll keep this in the shot. I'm gonna shade in a little clone helmet here. So shade it in. And I think that's a strength. Like the Empire knew, and we say Empire. What do we actually mean by that? Like, really, if we trickle it down from Palpatine knew how to use people's fears. Like that's how we got Anakin. Like that's how we got into power. I feel he kind of placed fear in other people and was like, "Oh, I'm the person that like can fix it for you." Um, so it's like yeah, fear is such a big trope and part of the Empire. And I feel like, all the people underneath Palpatine or just, people, commanders, people in charge in the Empire learned that. It's like, yeah, if you just inflict fear, um, you know, you've got it then. Like that's the control, that's the power, because people are very responsive to fear. Okay, how are we looking? How are we looking on our clone helmet? Now I'm gonna try and turn this into a little Rex helmet. Because I do have some blue icing, so I was like, why not? I feel like I've made it very small for like the space that it is. But that's okay. That's okay. Ooh, lots of talking today. I love it. This is a deep conversation. So fun. My argument is the Empire is strong, but the years of having little to no resistance had given them a false sense of security. It's 5 BBY, and we're only seeing the formation of the rebels. Yeah, I agree. I think oh, this is a nice blue, guys. This is a lovely blue. What does this even actually? I don't even know what this tastes like. That's a very like Captain Rex blue, right? Tastes like icing. Yeah. It's just kind of sugar, really. Okay. Rex. We're gonna make this little clone into a Rex. Let's do it, my friends. Let's do it. So we're gonna put oh, this is so terrifying. Okay. I'll get to your Empire comments in a minute. Let me just pop this blue on. Ooh, wow, that was a crisp blue line. Oh, should I make that thicker? Can't really see that from far away. I feel like I should do 2 lines. Hang on. Woo! That's better. I feel like I got the scaling of the visor wrong. Maybe should I make the visor a little wider? We're learning so much today. Oh, it's got a cap on. Come on, get it together. The Empire was never proper. It just needed people to realize it couldn't fight back onto the top of the oppression. Yeah, I totally get it. Like Cassian said, they're all fat and satisfied. They're not paying attention to the little sparks that light the fire of the rebellion. Yeah, I think that's a really great line and great metaphor and great like just imagery of showing the kind of the mentality of the empires, especially at at this time in the time of Andor, where it's like, yeah, they're pretty indifferent. Not indifferent. That's not the right word. They're just not taking notice. They just don't care at this point. Whoop. If you're liking the show, make sure if you're not subscribed, which I think most of you are, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I'm 5 away from 200, which is insane, which, is just so incredible. I'm having such a good time. I just get to make Star Wars and talk about Star Wars every week. So I appreciate you all being here. If you enjoy the show, make sure you do subscribe. It does help me out. And thank you if you already have. If you already do, that is so appreciated. We're having it just as we're chatting now about the Empire. We'll remind everyone next week, we are having a very special show. It's not going to be at a usual time. It's going to be at a little later time, assuming that Tales of the Jedi comes out at midnight PST. Next week, we are going to be having a very special. There it is. Oh, hang on, let's get Caleb's comment off the screen. There we go. A live countdown to Tales of the Jedi next week. It's going to be happening 2 hours before, just like our Andor countdown. Let me know in the comments if you're here for our Andor countdown, which was super fun. We're going to be having the same thing for Tales of the Jedi. I'm a fan. I'm a really big Clone Wars fan, so it's going to be a great show. We're going to be making some Lego. I'll tease you that. And we're going to be having some other fun things happen, which you'll have to wait for the show. So make sure you're here next week. Put it in your calendars. Live countdown to Tales of the Jedi. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time. Back to the comments, what we're talking about. Because they have a process, 70% chances of success processes. that's fair. That's fair. Gotta love the sequel trilogy. There's so many good lines. Let the past die. Kill if you have to. Kill it if you have to, sorry. With a spark that'll light the fire that will burn the First Order down, and I am all the Jedi. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I watched The Force Awakens the other day with my family for my birthday, and that's a great movie. There's some great lines in that one. Not my favorite Star Wars movie, but definitely a good one. Definitely a good one. I also love the pace of Andor. It feels breathable when I'm watching it. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that, it's got those moments where, not pauses, but it just, yeah, I think the pacing is pretty spot on. I mean, the last episode 6 was pretty fast, but that's not a criticism. I think that was, it was a really great fast episode. It was really like full on, you know what I mean? All right, how's my Rex looking? Got the blue outline going there. How we're looking. Now, I think I'm going to try and do the eyes, and then going to do, I think he's got like a little blue line down the bottom. Rex. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just looking at my stickers here from Julie. Let's do a line. Oh, should I do a line to the bottom? Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's do this. Oh my gosh, this is nerve-wracking. It's a little bit wonky, but you can kind of tell what I'm trying to achieve there. This is so funny. Sevilla, hello, my friend. Did you just get here? Welcome. I was waiting for you to get in here. Force Awakens trailer put my excitement through the roof. Through the roof. I love it. Just curious, before the RaeSide, before Action Cam, were you always crafty, or has that channel brought out the artsy side of RaeSide? No, yeah, I have always done. This is very much a thing I did in my spare time. As a kid, I would kind of be making Star Wars things. I loved on like the StarWars.com website would always have like, like how to make like an Ewok out of a, toilet roll. Like they have random things there. But in day-to-day life, I'm very much a hands-on, practical person. I'm currently changing jobs a little bit, becoming educating myself to become a props master, so working in props on films. So very much this is my element. This is what I love to do. I've always been a very very practical person. I like making things, I like building things. So this is why this is quite fun, where it's like, well, you can just hang out. I can hang out with you guys and just make stuff. This is this would be the dream job, to like just literally just do this full time. Imagine if we did this every day. How much stuff could we make? Now, I did a little bit wonky on this one. A little bit wonky, but that's okay. We can still start to tell it's Rex. I'm going to add another line of blue on this side so we can really see it. Another one on this side. Ooh, okay. Rexy boy. Love it. You know what? I should have got my Rex mask so I could have something to reference. I think that was peak positivity of Star Wars fandom right after that movie came out. Yeah, it kind of, it was kind of a bit shaky afterwards, a little, bit rough, but definitely I think the excitement of Star Wars was just exponential at that point. That, kind of, that, when did that would have been 2014, the trailer came out. The movie came out in 2015. Insane. Back to Andor, I really love the pace. It never feels boring because the dialogue is so good. This is the best writing in the Star Wars show so far. Yeah, I think that the kind of the writing of this show is the most, what's the word I'm going for? Cohesive? There's another word I'm going for. It's the most like cohesive is what I'll go for now. Just succinct. That's the word. It's the most succinct show of Star Wars writing for me, and which is funny because it's like it's not my Andor is my favorite Star Wars show yet, but it's like it's the most succinctly written show. Say that 3 times fast. Succinctly written. Succinctly written. Whew. I think Star Wars slash Marvel has realized that they need to let some shows breathe. Some shows work at a fast paced extended movies like 6 to 8 episodes, while some shows work at 10+ episodes, a slow burn. Yeah, and I think that is like the reason we're in this period of kind of figuring out. Like the Mandalorian show was like the Mandalorian show. The Mandalorian was definitely a show I think was a lot of learning. And, I think it's also why the Book of Boba Fett wasn't like the greatest thing ever, because I felt like that was a really big show for Lucasfilm to learn what style they should be putting Star Wars into TV shows. And I agree with you. I think there's got to be some shows that are, different amounts of episodes. And, you got the Obi-Wan, that's only the 6 episodes? Yeah, 6 episodes. And then, you got Bad Batch, which is like 22 episodes, and Clone Wars was like that. And even in that, different episodes are different length. So it's really interesting. And I still think we're in this early stage of Star Wars being a TV show, which they're still figuring out how to master it, really, how to, nail it down and, still have that variety, really. That's a good question. That's a good question. A lot of talking to people, I figured out. A lot of talking to people. And then I'm currently making just a portfolio of stuff, which is secret stuff. And then I've got some connections into some studios that do props. So they're just waiting for a portfolio. So that's how I'm doing it, but I'm sure there's other ways as well. I second that the dialogue and the beautiful colored scene just glues you to the screen. Yeah, I definitely found episode 6 was really peak that as well. Peak that. Jeff, welcome, my friend. It's interesting to see the rebels transform from a small guerrilla warfare into organized military, as we see in A New Hope. You'd think the organized approach would be more easily matched by the Empire. Yeah, it's interesting, and it makes me like this concept of like the progression of the rebellion makes me interested to see where like I think of Saw's group, and we got to meet the youngest Saw, version of Saw, in the Clone Wars, and in that what's the planet called? Oh my gosh, Onderon, that Onderon arc, and he kind of is with this band of people, and even in that arc, it was very much like it was like a microcosm of like what the rebellion is to the Empire, which I found really interesting. But yeah, so it's like his I found very much like that. It's this small guerrilla warfare, and it does build up. I think that's a good point. And I think this is what maybe Andor's trying to achieve here, is bridging those two things you're saying there, that kind of small pockets of it's violent, but it's like it's because they're trying to go against such great evil. And then to what we see in A New Hope, a perfectly run and organized rebel headquarters and bases and things like that. It's so perfectly, people are at different stations doing their right things, and it's all working together. I think Endor's definitely this like bridging gap to those two things. Wow, there's so many things today. So many people talking. I love it. Oh, thank you. Did I have any special birthday screens and stuff? I watched Force Awakens, which is interesting because it's not my favorite Star Wars, but we watched Force Awakens. You can see Boba in the back here with his little gift bow on. Got him as a gift, and this lovely Death Star cheese board in the background here. Got for my parents. So I was very Star Warsified as well. So lots of Star Wars things. The Force Awakens got wow, I can't even, is that 2 billion? 2 billion in the box office? It was really big hype in the fandom. Yeah, it was really, really peak excitement there. I don't think enough people are talking about the music. Nicholas Brittle, so atmospheric and so different, but so effective. Yeah, actually, just before I jumped on the show today, I think Star Wars, like the Instagram or the Twitter of Star Wars, posted like a little excerpt of him talking about Episode 6, like the music in Episode 6, and kind of how the meaning and how he wrote it and things. I only watched a bit of it, and he seems like such a clever guy. He really like nailed the meaning of the music and like trying to connect it to what we're seeing in the episode. So I might go share that on my Instagram story after this because it was really really interesting. Haha! Props to you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate the support as always. Hopefully, I'm hoping it like kind of melds in together because it's like I make things here. I want to make things everywhere. Also, I thought the Ardani people might be part of the heist, like the trash officers surrounding them or something. That's actually kind of funny. Then again, it was their sacred ground, so that's a no-no. Yeah, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, like, but I felt like something else was gonna happen there. Like, I don't know if like the Aldanis was they were gonna like realize like the Cassian gang, the rebels, I guess, were gonna like I don't know, they would like notice that they're trying to stop the Empire and help out or something. I don't know. I thought they might have got involved. I can understand how you thought that. Oh man, wow, that is the most condensated water bottle ever. Gosh. Okay, let's keep as we're chatting. I got to keep focused on like what I'm making here. Have you thought about opening a Patreon, get a donation link, which I'm sure not only one. Oh, thank you so much, Caleb. The reason I've held off on that, if you haven't been up to date with Patreon, I actually made a Patreon, and then all these things came out about Patreon not being too ethical with kids under 18, and there's a whole kind of the thing going on there, which I don't want to be too supportive of Patreon. Obviously, not really kind of supporting what they're kind of doing back over there. So I was going to open one, but I'm going to hold off until they can get that sorted. And then I think I don't know when it is when I can get channel members, but when I get channel members, you can help me out in that way. But that is very kind of you. But again, like I think the best way you can support me is just engage with what I post. And I do this show because I just want to hang out with Star Wars fans like you. So yeah, just liking, commenting, and sharing around my stuff and engaging with my stuff is that's the biggest help you can give me, which is like making me happy. So that's that's the main thing here before monetary things. But I appreciate it, and I'll let you know if things like Patreon or anything come up. I'll let you know as well. I love. I wasn't actually going to ever talk about this on the show, but I love how we're somehow talking about this. Yes, I'm currently transitioning my career into trying to become a props master. I just want to point out, not one yet, but attempting to get over there. That's really funny. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. I'm a props Padawan at the moment. I'm a props Padawan. That's what I should say. Oh, back to the Empire. Wow, there's so many comments. I can't keep up. I'm really slow today. The organized approach keeps the rebellion more tactically sound, but never head to head. Absolutely, Joel. The organized approach was more about the strike runs against more valuable targets, wearing the infrastructure and choke points when they were about taking planets, like the separatists did. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, hit and run. I think that's what it is. I wonder if the Imperial defectors are going to play a big part in the professionalization. Gee, that's a long word. Of the rebellion. That's a good question. Because they come from obviously the Empire, very like structured and very official, professional like standards and things like that. Maybe they add an element of that. I wonder what Callus's involvement. Did he have like things like we should. I don't know what I'm trying to. My point is here. Yeah, standardize maybe a little bit, or bring a little bit of structure to the rebels. I think that's what your point is there, Ben. I like it. I think the guy that kept talking, the guy they keep talking about bringing into the circle is Saw Gerrera. They are going to try and unite with his crew and ultimately fail as Mon Mothma. Hey, now that's a good idea. Now that's a good take. Now that's definitely something that could be plausible. Hadn't thought of that before, but I like it. You know what? You know what is on like my to-do list for the show is to get a whiteboard because we have so many thoughts and we have so many theories that are like so spot on where it's like I'm thinking right here on this wall getting a whiteboard and just like every show we like write down and be like on this day like Rick said that the circle guy might be Saw Gerrera. So then when those things happen, we can refer to the whiteboard. So that is to come. I'm definitely going to add that to the show. Joel, exactly the empire at the end of the day fell because people empowered to rise up on their own. Definitely agree there. Back to Jeff. The empire's probably wiped out the poor Eldani's by now, right? Had to think they were in on it. That's a good point. Like, will we see Eldani again? But that's a good thought. Maybe the empire, the Imperials, like they clearly seemed like dodgy dudes. Maybe they just killed them all because they were just like didn't care. Interesting thought. Fun fact: in both canon and legends, the big celebration on Coruscant after the destruction of the Death Star 2 is immediately cracked down upon the Imperial remnants. Many died that day. Wow, that's cool. Not cool, but that's interesting. That's interesting. I'll say that. Why? That's so sad. Hannah, that's me. I'm assuming that's me. Imperial defectors did play a big part. Dodana, Crix, Dodana was a defector. War Imperial officers who left. Some even officers who served in the Republic. There you go. I remember the scene at the end of the Return of the Jedi that you hear stormtroopers shoot each other for the escape pods. I don't remember that at all. Do I need to watch Return of the Jedi? I don't remember that at all. Hot take. Hot take. I don't hate the special editions of the original trilogy. I personally think, besides A New Hope, the special edition of Return of the Jedi ain't half bad. The special edition of Empire is better. Is the better movie. That is a hot take. I mean, I'm kind of born, beyond that era. I was like beyond. Like my first watching is the special editions, and like I feel like I must have seen it on a YouTube video somewhere, but like I've never it wasn't like my original take. So it's like I only know the special editions, really. Wild. It's better, but I take your word there. I know a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on it. Am I going to eat those? Maybe they're kind of really nice though. That's the problem. I keep making this really cool looking food and don't want to eat it. It was the same with the lightsabers. I like made really cool the edible lightsabers. I was like, I don't want to eat these. These are great. But we do need to keep cracking on, don't we? Keep muffing around. We're 53 minutes into this. I've made only Captain Rex. Let's try and make a stormtrooper here. I think. Let's make a little stormy trooper. This is going to be a bit of a caricature. It's not going to be super accurate, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, awkward. Mascot, cool. That was a bad response. There were blasters sounds in the Return of the Jedi, and Luke was the only rebel on board. So who were they shooting at? Oh, that's a good point. That is a deep detail, my friend. Jared, you're onto it. Wonder if Lucasfilm. Hang on, let me read and do this. Wonder if Lucasfilm knew that Andor wouldn't have high numbers. Personally, I think they made this show for prestige of having an adult and sophisticated Star Wars show, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean that was a bit of a topic of discussion on Star Wars Twitter the past couple of days. The numbers of Andor came out. They were shockingly low to me. I don't know if I feel like they did kind of bet on Andor being a bit more accessible to the casual fan or even non-Star Wars fans. I feel like they were kind of maybe betting on that a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know if they're disappointed or not, but as a fan, I was kind of disappointed, being like, I feel like more people were watching this show. But that's okay. Okay, we're doing a stormtrooper. I think I'm going to do the 2 lines thing, so it's a little thicker than usual. But yeah, speaking of the end of the Return of the Jedi, you should make a Vader marshmallow and roast him to make him a small. Well, hang on. No, I will. I would make an Anakin. I would make an Anakin marshmallow and then roast it, and then it'll be Darth Vader. Oh man, we're so gonna do that for a show one day. That's a really cool idea. I love that. I love that, Jeff. Stormtroopers try and shoot themselves and still miss. Yeah, right, right. So good. Unless they ditch the helmet. Exactly. Oh, welcome, Lachlan. Welcome. Yeah, I mentioned this like at the very start of the show about the Julie mentioned this. Yeah, I'm sad that they're quite short. The run times, the longest only being 17 minutes. But I don't know. I feel like I think Tales of the Jedi will be very, very successful. And oh, crapsicle. No. Maybe should I take that? I made a little. Come on, action cam. I made a little dot there. I don't know how to like get rid of it. I'm just smearing it. Should I? You know what I'll do? I'll just turn it around. Ha ha ha. Wow, that was really chaotic. Yeah, Tales of the Jedi is being quite short. Is a little bit sad, but maybe that's just because they're going to be very deep and emotional. But yeah, always wish they were a little bit longer. All right, let me do this line and we'll continue chatting. Whoop. Okay. That was stressful. Okay, got a Rex back here. If you can't see our Rex, put him a little closer. Love it. Oh, welcome, Redmando Commando. Welcome, my friend. We're making Stormtrooper / clone marshmallows. We haven't even gotten to the main topic yet of the clones in Andor. Yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. But welcome to the show, my friend. You're not too late. We still got a long show. We've got like 3 more marshmallows here to decorate. Let's go back to these comments. Caleb, I grew up with the special editions as well, but my grandma brought me the DVD and the theatrical cuts, the bonus feature. There you go. I will say I do not like the random jazz number in Return of the Jedi. Random jazz number. We're talking about Jedi rocks. Is that what we're talking about? Because that's arguably the best thing of Star Wars ever, of space and time. Joel, I do hope that Lucasfilm continues to make Star Wars that isn't for everyone. Tone and age wise, of course, not diverse wise, because not all Star Wars should be for everyone. Again, tonally, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, I definitely think the variety is the way to go with Star Wars. I hope they stick to that. Yes, high grand s'mores. Yes, we'll burn the Anakin marshmallow and turn it into the Vader marshmallow. He'll have the high ground. I love it. I am. It's not the RaeSide anymore. It's the dark side. Rick, I think the animation is going to be better. Shorter episodes is high quality per minute. Yeah, that's what I think I mean. I was like, I think the shorter episode times mean like the Clone Wars kind of had space to be like 23 minutes of nothing's filler, no filler episodes, but you can have some of the episodes which are lighter on different themes and things like that, where I feel like Tales of the Jedi is going to be very concentrated into like very deep and punchy episodes. Now, before I actually want to have a good discussion about Tales of the Jedi, but not too much of a discussion because we're going to have our live stream countdown of it next week. It's tricky. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we're here to talk about today, which is the Hasbro Phase 2 clone helmet, which was released, which is, random time to release it, but is it random? What if the clones in Andor are going to have a bigger part to play than we think? But also, I don't want to get your hopes up. But also, I think it's very, I think, they're going to have quite a lot of meaning, even if they're not on screen a lot. I think even like because we have to see them in a flashback, they're not going to be around anymore, we think. But in this flashback, it could be quite a big moment. We could see a very, important thing of this show happen because of this flashback of the clones. So let's talk about. Oh, hang on, I don't have my banner ready. Hang on. the clones doing in Andor? Let's put this question up on the screen. What are they doing? What are they up to? I want to know your thoughts before I share mine. What's this flashback gonna be showing us? Okay. Let's make our little eyes for our stormtrooper here. I feel like that was a little low, but that's okay. I feel like I made them smaller, but that's okay. I did them smaller because I knew I could go bigger. At the end of the special edition of Return of the Jedi is better than the original. I'm referring to the music, of course, not the Anakin actors, but I have not an opinion on that. Aside from this final season, the Clone Wars episodes were only 22 minutes without commercial. That's only a 5-minute difference from the longest episode of The Tale of the Jedi. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, dark side, light side, marshmallow is one side burnt, one side untouched. Oh, that's a good thought. That's like yeah, I feel like how would you do that? I would have to so perfectly burn it to that point. I love it. I love it. But yeah, what are these clones going to be doing? Where are these clones going to be in Andor? It kind of looks like they're on Ferrix to me. So I don't know if we might get a flashback of Ferrix. Maybe a kind of maybe a teenage Cassian, or just a younger Cassian, and Marva on Ferrix, and the clones come, and they're kind of on Ferrix there. Okay, doing my little stormtrooper eyes. Whew, this is tense. Nothing will be as intense as when we made the where is it? Up here. The little metal Millennium Falcon. Let me know if you were there for that episode. That was very intense. It's a long show too. Okay, how are we looking? My little stormtrooper eyes. Woo! That's really funny. I feel like I got to make them the same size. It's a cool looking, very cool looking. Maybe the first appearance of the troopers on Ferrix. Yeah, so we agree and kind of look at it like it's on Ferrix. The people collectively reminisce and why they made the bell ring system they used in episode 3. Oh, that's a good point, because that was quite a dramatic scene. That whole bell ringing thing, and then when the when the corporate police, whoever they are, Cyril, when they walking through the town and all the townspeople banging on metal things make sound. That was really interesting. I would like to say for the record from the last stream that my prediction was right. Which prediction? Guys, this is what I mean by we need a whiteboard. I'm gonna get a whiteboard. It's gonna go up here. I'm gonna write down people's predictions that were spot on. Because there were so many predictions from last week. What was your prediction? Remind us. I personally think TV and movies should be as long or as short as the story demands. Like The Mandalorian, some are as short as 30 minutes and some are as long as 50 minutes. Yeah, I agree. Depends on the story, really. It's a good point. Is it a weird period where they are phasing out the clone troopers and phasing in the stormtroopers? Because they're definitely stormtroopers by 5 BBY. Well, that's why I think I think the Bad Batch. Don't talk about that show enough. I think that's where that I am pretty bummed that they pushed back Bad Batch. But I feel like that's such an interesting story where they're kind of telling this kind of experience of how they phased out clones. Hang on, let me try and get this little mouthpiece here. I feel like I did it too high up, but that's okay. Looks like a cat or something. But Hannah's fingers just. It's only just from that episode. Yeah, going for that anthology feel. Yeah, I definitely think so. Back to One was I like Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is like 4 to 5 hours long, but I also love the theatrical cut, 2 hours long. Yeah, again, that who was it that said it? Was it Caleb? Who was it? Oh yeah, it was you. That the fact that yeah, it's as long. The story should be as long as they need to be, really. Yeah. Maybe we only need 13 minutes of this Tales of the Jedi episode to get the effect and the meaning. Now, the mouthpiece, I'm going to do like this. Yeah. Gosh. Hang on, I'll do the mouthpiece. I keep going on these moments where I keep going silent. I'm focusing. And then we'll keep chatting. Wah! There's a couple little dots around the place, but that's okay. Oh, you couldn't even see it that whole time. He's got a really big chin, but that's okay. I don't know why I did lines. I'm just looking at some pictures here, and a lot of them have lines as mouthpiece, but that's okay. It's not too screen accurate. What should I do on the side? Should I do a little thing on the side, like a little? So do I have any stormtrooper things about? Oh, I've got some on my keys. Stay there. Hang on. Okay, this is gonna be I should have got this before. This is gonna be my stormtrooper reference. This is my keys. Hang on, action cam. Where did I get my lines from? Why did I do the lines? But what's on the cheek? What's on the side here? It's like I'm like rethinking this whole design of the stormtrooper now. Let's make the little middle part let's keep a little stormtrooper there. These are my two. Might as well show off my key rings here. Got a stormtrooper and got a little Andor rebel. It just says, yeah, rebel Andor. Okay. Let's make this part a little bit longer, I think. Cool. Should I do little things here? We're going all out. Ooh. That Falcon episode was heavy, too much patience and too many parts for the Falcon, right? Hannah is my main Star Wars booking for all Star Wars wagering. Right? I feel like it's gonna be so fun if we're gonna whiteboard. We should do bets. We should do bets on whose prediction was gonna win. Yes, what was your prediction for episode 6? That was literally everyone was gonna die. Yeah, that was a pretty good prediction. And I think, what did we say? It was only Vel and Centa who survived. Also ship it, love them together. Man, there's many comments. I've missed so much. What is that name? I can't even say that name. That's great. Love the series Love, Death, and Robots. I haven't seen it. I can't say I've seen it. The Chin Trooper. Yeah, right? His chin is so large. But I'm adding some little bits. It's looking a bit better now. The Stormtrooper keychain as well, but it's only the head of the First Order executioner of the Stormtrooper. Ah, nice. Really good. Yeah, I got this. I actually got this in America. I got this at Downtown Disney. Downtown Disney? Yeah, Downtown Disney. There was a Lego store in Downtown Disney at Anaheim. Got it in May this year when I went to Celebration. There you go. It would be a shame to see those original pieces of Star Wars marshmallows be eaten. I suddenly have a craving for some hot cocoa or chocolate. Hot chocolate. Hot chocolate. What do we call hot chocolate here? Yeah, hot choc or hot chocolate. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this would sit nicely in nice cup of hot chocolate. I mean, knowing Star Wars, it's probably blue hot chocolate if it was in Star Wars, or Calf. That is the calf. What if someone else has other parts? Oh my gosh. Imagine. Imagine you can like piece it all together. Benjamin, my theory is Lieutenant Gorn is still alive and was captured. Yes. Now, we spoke about this on the Underworld this week. And they were like, oh, yeah, when Gorn died. I'm like, when did Gorn die? That's actually a good point. I have no memory of him dying, but it's like he wasn't like shown anywhere at the end. Maybe he is alive. I might be with you there, Ben. Might be with you. Now I'm going to do like a little dot here. Alrighty. That's our little. I might stop there with a stormtrooper. Look, he's got a big head too. Oh, these are classic. These are classic. He does have little side parts, but like, should I do a little thing there? I think that'll look weird though. I feel like that'll look weird. I'm gonna leave it as that. I'm gonna leave it as that. Oh, get in the frame. Get in the frame, Stormy. So much is happening. This is such a fun day. This is such a fun show today. You got the same keychain on my car keys, like the Andor one or the Stormtrooper one. I love them. I love them. Sorry, a version of a Stormtrooper with your name. I love it. So good. Okay, who do we do next? Do we do a phase? Because Rex, I feel like that's kind of his phase 1. Helmet. Let me just Google phase 2. I gotta think of what that looks like. Phase 2 clone helmet. Okay, I feel like I could do a phase 2. Yeah, let's try to do a phase 2. Phase 2 looks good. I do want to eat one. I just want to have a marshmallow just for the sake of having a marshmallow. He's a good quality too. Look at that. Oh, I did it off screen. It's a quality marshmallow. Look at that squish. Squish out of 10. Great stuff. Oh, good marshmallows. Oh, do Cody next. Actually, yeah. Why am I deciding? You tell me what to do. Yeah. Should I do Cody? I've got yellow. These are my colors. I've got yellow, green, and blue, and obviously the blue and black. Let's do Cody. Let's do Cody. Should we do Cody? I've got 3 more, so we can do a couple. This is a quality marshmallow. No, yeah, I really have no memory of him dying. Like even on the second watch, I like was looking out for it and like did not catch it. Was it just me, or did anyone disappointed in the final for the credits they ended up finally retrieving? It looked like it was only a fraction of what they could have taken. Right? I was like, oh man, they could have gotten so much more. But I'm like, oh my gosh, is consumerism. You know, it's never enough, is it? It's never enough. The way we were like, oh, that's not enough credits. And they have like, what a Skeen said, he's like, about 80 million. It's like, you could have gotten more. Consumerism, eh? Killer. Let's make Cody. You've got red and green, do boba. Oh, that's brilliant. Yes, this is gonna be a great show. Let's just stay here all day. See how many clones we can make. You know what? It's not like, did I eat the only green one? I've got it's like not obviously a dark green, but like compared to the white. It's slightly green. Maybe I should do boba with this one. I love it. I'm gonna keep eating this marshmallow to keep me going. Also, I should every time I have sugar on this show, because it's always something super sweet, I get crazy on this show. But that's okay. Adds to the excitement. What am I doing? Cody. Phase 1, Cody? Clone helmet. I'm not going to do his little visor, though. That's okay. We'll figure that out. Should I do... I'll do the black part first, I think. Like I did Rex's. Okay, let's do it. Right in the frame? Yeah. Whoop. Nice. Okay, let me go in. Why does this look so different to Rex's? Definitely think it's about a storm outside. I was a little miffed when it happened. It was weird because they chose to kill both black characters first, back to back. You know what? I did take note of that too. But that's yeah. I took note of that. I don't think I have anything else to comment on, but I'm like, okay, I took note of that. They, first Gorn and Tamar. No, I always call him. Is it Tamarin? I keep calling him Tamarin, but there's an extra A there. Tamarin. Nailed it. Well, if it's for payroll for the whole system, I guess it's always kind of haul it all. Yeah, that's a good point. Like that time when it was so little. Yeah, like they were like in the room and they were like, we got 14 minutes. And like, you're not even in the vault yet. Go get down there. So I think it was a pretty slim amount of time. And yeah, 80 million. Right? I feel like we're just all being greedy now. 80 million is like so much. It's like if you could still 80 million or nothing, it's like, oh, you'll take it. 80 million credits is big, I believe. Big enough to kill for it. Is that in the show? Because that feels like it could be in the show. Big enough to kill for it. I feel like that's does Skeen say that? Because if not, that's just the best Star Wars line ever. Okay, go down the line here a bit. Why is this one so wonky? I did this not very well. Okay. And then it goes out like Rex's as well. All right, so I'm doing the black visor for Cody now. And then we've got to figure out, I feel like I should like layer up the yellow to try and make his little, because he's, his little yellow visor kind of really sticks out from the rest of his helmet. It's not just like painted on like Rex's. It's the horror movie trip all over again. I love it. I mean, at least the Mexican is still alive. Well, Cassian? Not for long. But yeah, love it. That's space Mexican to you. My request for a marshmallow helmet is a Rogue Hardin helmet. Oh, is it Roko or Reiko? I thought it was Reiko Harding. Oh, it is. It's an A. I read that as an O. It is Reiko Harding. And you said Reiko Harding. I love it. Yeah, I can't even remember his helmet. But that's an unhinged Clone Wars arc if I've ever seen one. It was wild. But let me look up what his helmet after this. It might be a good one. Why did the proportions of this one is so different? Why did I get this so off? Why is it so thick? Why did I make it so thick? I don't know what's happened to you. Let's try to make it a little longer here. I don't know what am I on? It's the marshmallow. It's the sugar. Okay, let's make this a little like that. Make these a little wider. Okay, that's the Cody visor done. Keith, thank you for chatting in. Great show. Gotta go. I'll give you the gift of my absence and be on my way. Oh, it's so sad though. That's not a gift. It's not a gift. But yeah, wish you rest of the good week. Thank you again. Belated happy B Day. Thank you. 2023. Again, we gotta figure out what Star Wars character is 23 as well. That's so good. Red Mando, I love Reiko's helmet. It's based off one of the older concept arts for Boba Fett. Ah, there you go. I feel that's very Star Wars to like make some side character or side thing that like based on like the concept art of something Star Wars. I love that. Caleb gets Cassian is a Mexican, Nemec is a space communist, Darth Vader is a space respirator. I love it. I love it. It's very true. All right, let me look up this Reiko Hardin helmet. I don't know why I can't think of it because I loved these episodes of Clone Wars. Oh yeah, yeah. I gotcha. I gotcha. And he's like kind of it does like now that you say that, Red Man, it's like, yeah, it looks like Boba's like a version of Boba's helmet. I love it. Okay, let's do Cody. We're doing Cody here. We can probably move our keys by now, actually. A little bit more of this marshmallow. Fuel for this creativity. I need more paper towels. That's okay. Okay. Okie dokie. Palpatine, the granddaddy of the galaxy. I feel like there's a lot of space communists in Star Wars. I feel like there's a lot. Okay, how am I gonna do this? A nice thick line on the top. What I'm gonna try and do is it's like because this icing stuff is kind of thick. Trying to like layer it on top to make this this Cody visor. A little side on here. Get down there. Get down, buddy. Oh, jeez, how am I making that worse? I'm trying to push it down. It's like sticking up. I've got this side over here that's like sticking up. Get down, buddy. Okay. So I'm going to try and like kind of make this little layery thing. I don't know how well this is going to work. Oh no. It looks like he has yellow curly hair or something. I should do it a little taller as well. Alrighty. That's looking all right. So it's action cam struggling there. Now I can hear a storm rolling in to where I am, so I apologize in advance if my picture quality drops a little bit. Action cam is struggling to keep up with the lag there. Okay. This is so funny. It actually his yellow part drops a little lower than his visor. So I'm going to come down a little bit here. Oh crap. It's a little bit wonky, but I'm happy. A little bit wonky. I love it. Okay, cool. We'll add some extra bits. Space Satan. I love it. I realize this is nitpicking, but I was also curious to know why Cassian and his accent and why Cassian has his accent if he was taken as a child, was brought up by mother, who by all accounts is British. That's a good point. Yeah, that's actually a good point. He was 6. He had an accent then but by then we don't know if Cassian was brought up up in Ferrex. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Caleb, accents are weird. People who move away from their home region to adapt to the accent of their new home, but some retain the accent. It's a very subjective thing. Yeah, I think so. I would agree with that comment. I feel like in Star Wars, especially, like, yeah, you know, it it's hard because it's like the accents they have is such an earthly thing. It's hard to reciprocate that well in like a fantasy galaxy. So I don't know. I feel like it's just like a thing that is just like, oh, yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's a tricky one. Why he has his accent, and why isn't it more like Marva's? Interesting concept. Good question. I am gonna add Cody to have a little thing down here because he has some more yellow. That's like around his little mouthpiece. Around like there. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. How are we looking? I don't know why his visor is so thick, but that's my Cody. That's my Cody. Let's whack him there. Let's make another. This is such a fun show. I mean, I say that every week, but this is such a fun show today. Had a great time. Maybe they bounced around. Never know. Reiko's helmet was one of the Ralph McQuarrie's early designs. There you go for Boba. I actually built one a year or so ago. Oh my gosh, did you actually? I would love to see that. Put that online. If it's not, I'll go stalk your Instagram. If not, if it's on there, I'll go stalk your Instagram. See if it's there. Wow. So glad they repurposed that design. The design. Your ex was born in England, lived there until she was 6, then moved to the US, still has a British accent. Yeah, like I agree. I think it's a subjective thing. Like sometimes it's like you move as a kid, you like lose it immediately, or you really hold on to it. Like it's really interesting. Cody looks like his helmet has a goatee. Actually, he kind of does. Kind of does. Wolf. Yeah, actually. The thing is, I don't have a gray. So how would I like differentiate it from the black visors? That's a good point. But I do like the wolf helmet. That's a good one. Actually, wolf is the one I'm thinking of, right? Is the grey? Yeah, the grey. Could do that style of helmet. Who's the? Is there a? I'm trying to think. Is there a purple clone? Well, who am I thinking of there? I'm thinking of a purple clone. Who's that? Someone read my mind. Again, apologies for the quality if it drops at all. There's a big storm rolling in where I am. Okay, let's do our boba now. Let's do a boba. Was that Red Manda? Was that your idea? Or Jared, was that your idea? Let's do our boba. Let's do it. Black. Oh, we got our black already. Let's move these a little bit. Stay with me, action cam. Stay with me. Yeah, Mace is. I was gonna say, is it Mace? Yeah, I felt like it's kind of this. It's not. Maybe it's not purple. It's like this maroon kind of color. Gregor. That's a character. That's a good Star Wars character. The guy that was, or the alien species that was the like the head of that restaurant on the Void Planet that like Gregor worked at. Gregor, you are nothing but a dish boy. Like, oh, that character was just top tier. Clone Wars was just something else. Man, Clone Wars is good. You are not clone. You work for dish boy for me, Gregor. Oh, I want to know the name of that character. That was a great guy. Commando. Yeah, I could do a commando visor. I could do one of those. 187th. Clone Legion uses purple. There you go. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Ben, for that one. I mean, I've talked in I've talked in English, but it's one thing to listen to yourself and to another how people hear you. That's a good point. Like, I don't think I have an accent, but I sound like I have an Australian accent. Same me to you. You know, if you're in North America, I know my friends in the underworld, like they're all very strange accents to me. Um, you know, you always think your sound is like what the main sound of accent is. That didn't make any sense. I would like to place an order of 2 dozen Star Wars marshmallows, please. I'm telling you, I feel like I could freeze if I reckon if I could freeze these, I could ship these, surely. I could ship them. I love it. Okay, all right, let's do a boba. Let's do a boba. All right, so I feel like this is gonna be simpler. I'm gonna do a one straight line at the top here. And then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna try. My issue with the Cody, I think, is I didn't get the center lined up well at all. I feel like I got the proportions of this wrong. That was high intensity. Gregor, you are just a dish boy. We need more Russian aliens in Star Wars. Whoop. Nice. I mean, talk about weird arcs. That was a weird arc of the Star Wars, eh? Of the Star Wars? Of the Clone Wars. We're doing well, folks. We're getting our Boba visor done. Pretty happy with this one. I feel like maybe the scale of it was pretty spot on. Oop. I feel like I gotta like... We're doing well. We're doing well, my friends. Man, if back to was that Dave that said he wanted to order 2 dozen marshmallows? That would take me like a week to make. Like, look how slow it's taking me to do this. Here we go. Whew. Alrighty. All right, that's our Boba visor. I could leave it like that, and that's our Mando. But we're gonna do our Boba here. Get in there, come on, buddy. Kind of fill it in a little bit. Great, cool. All right, what have I missed? Yeah, that's another thing. I was 14 before I realized the voice you hear and the voice are two different things. You hear your voice through muscle tissue and skin, and others hear it unfiltered. Ooh, that is deep. There you go. My gosh. The Cody kind of looks like Gregor too. It works both ways. Yeah, true. That's a good point. I mean, it's going to be a long way until the Star Wars celeb to get to a Star Wars celeb, but yeah, that will be the time I know my accent. Caleb, like my voice is baritone to me, but I listen to a recording once my voice is very much is a very much deep bass. Yeah, like it's well, I think that's what happens when we all listen to like ourselves and like we hear ourselves in a video. It's like I sound like that. Like that's what I sound. That's what I do when I watch back the shows. Like sometimes I'll watch back a show to like see like where I could add things or like make the show faster or whatever, and watch back an episode. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I talk like that the whole time. That's how I sound. I feel like it's that phenomenon. Sometimes I wish George had kept the original plan to give each trilogy a different name. Hmm. That's an interesting thought. What could you see them being named then? Okay, I'm gonna stop playing with this visor because it was good, and then I'll keep touching it. Actually, I'm gonna do one more line here. Nice, good stuff. Okay. Okay, then we're gonna do the red outline. We're doing the red outline. 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 Okay. Okay. All right, let's do our red around the side here. This always happens on these shows where I make a lot of one thing. It's like it always gets better. I always get better at the end. And again, like what I said at the start of the show, I don't practice this before the show. We do it in the middle. I'm just learning as we're doing this. Nice. This is so satisfying. Do you mean to do? I could do this slightly closer to the camera. I feel. Oh, action cam. Oh my gosh, it froze. It froze. Prequel trilogy would have been Clone Wars. Had to be the title that would have been Crawl. Sequel trilogy would have been a different name. Okay, all right. I guess we still don't know the clones are doing an Endor. Oh yeah, good point. That's what we're chatting about, weren't we? They're all the steelworkers busy working on the Death Star. Ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. They might have a flashback scene because their armor was too shiny to present to be in present times. Oh my gosh! Did you guys just see that ball fall? That was terrifying. Unless they clean it rigorously. Oh, never mind. Force Wars sounds stupid. I'm talking about your names. Force Wars. And dry cleaners, at least a detailer. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, the Death Star detailer has to be a franchise that exists in Star Wars. Yeah, but it definitely has to be a flashback, right? But I'm really interested to see. I don't think we'll see any clones we know, but it would just be cool to see them anyway. And are we going to see Tim Morrison behind the helmet? You know what would be cool if it's like if we didn't get like we saw the clones themselves like under it, but we just saw them in the helmets. But if it was voiced by oh my god, I've forgotten his name, D. Bradley Baker. Oh my gosh, how did I forget his name? That would be cool if if we're not going to see their skin or like their faces, that it's the voice of D. Bradley Baker, but in live action. That would be cool. I'd be down for that. Okay, we're gonna add some little details here. We're gonna add Boba's. He's got like these little lines up here. Little dots there. And then I'm gonna add a little black dot. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? This little smudge here is gonna be his little bullet. His little bullet hole. It doesn't really look like a bullet hole, but that's okay. Happy days. Should I do his little cheek marks or should I just leave it as that? That's a funny looking boba. Oh, let's bring up our other marshmallows here. There we go. Now we can see them all. They're looking so good. Oh, how did I almost miss my mouth just then? Okay. Look at that little crew we've got going here. Happy days. Upper's voice. Oh, I'm stoked with those. They are looking fantastic. Well, I think I might leave it at that for doing my clone marshmallows. I think, these key characters, a classic Stormtrooper, our Boba Fett, our Cody, and our Rex. I think we can pause it there, making our marshmallows today. And we'll start to wrap up the show. Now, a couple of announcements and housekeeping. Like what I mentioned in the middle of the show, next week. I don't have exact times yet. That is to be confirmed. But we are doing a very special episode of the RaeSide where we're counting down to Tales of the Jedi. I'm assuming it's coming out at the same time as Andor, which is going to be interesting. So assuming it's coming out at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Eastern, Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. Let me know if you're staying up for it. I'm gonna be here live, just like the Andor countdown. We're doing some Lego builds of some Clone Wars characters. We're doing a bunch of other things to keep us entertained, keep us awake, to stay up for Tales of the Jedi. And then is Andor gonna be out at the same time? We're gonna do a big binge of the shows? So we'll have an after show at some point next week as well. But that is also to be confirmed of what time. Just seeing of when it's dropping, when everything will be dropping, if it will be at the same time or not. Thank you so much, Marsh Helmets. That's a cool name for it. I like it. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you, Jared. I'm pretty happy with those. I might put them in the freezer so they just last forever. I don't think I'm going to eat them. I've got all these spare marshmallows I can eat, so I think I might freeze them and just see how long I can keep these bad boys, because they look cool. They look really, really good. I'm happy with them. Thank you, Sevilla. So yes, next week again we got our where's our thing? Where is it? Live countdown, October 25th next week. It's going to be just before midnight on the 26th. Ready for when it drops. We're going to be doing lots of Clone Wars orientated things to get hyped, get excited. Clone Wars is my favorite thing of Star Wars, so it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great show of lots of fun as always. And as well, if you want to support me here and help me keep making things and doing things here on the channel, subscribe, like, and again, the best way to support me is just comment and engage with my videos and things. I've got a video series that I've been working on for the last little while, which is really, really cool. So that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks' time. That's all I can tell you for now. But it's a whole series of videos that's going to be dropping. It comes out every Sunday. There's going to be a video dropping on the channel. But more on that next week. So make sure you're watching all my stuff. Comment on videos you like and liking videos you like. It helps me out a ton. And as well, after the episodes of Andor, on Thursdays, we go live, and I go live over there on Star Wars Underworld with my buddies, Chris, Dom, and Ben, breaking down the episodes of Andor every week. It's 2.5 hours shows. So if you can't join us live, make sure you look them up on Spotify, Star Wars Underworld, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find podcasts. And pop the podcast on. That's hard to say. As you're doing something else, as you're, walking the dog, driving around, pop it on to hear our breakdowns of Andor every single week. So make sure you check them out. Their YouTube channel, because we go live on YouTube as well. For that podcast is the link is down below to their channel as well. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, I think that's all. This is my favorite respite of the week. I love it. Another entertaining show. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for the good Star Wars conversations, anyone. Good times. Yeah, what a fantastic conversation this week, everyone. Thank you so much for being so engaged. It was interesting. Many thoughts. What's the summary of our thoughts this week? The Empire is strong against some things sometimes. Clone Troopers will be in Andor. Do we think it's going to be tonight? But it's probably going to be in a flashback. What else did we talk about? We talked about everything. I have no memory. But yes, again, the whiteboard is coming. We won't even have to try and remember, because it will all be on the Star Wars whiteboard, the RaeSide whiteboard. So we can remember everything we discuss in our shows. Thank you, Dave. So again, like and subscribe if you liked what you saw today. I'll catch you all over on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you check me out at the RaeSide, and we'll banter over there and have some good Star Wars fun. So that is it. Thank you so much for joining on this episode. It was great fun. Make sure you catch me over on social media. But that's it for this week. And Dave, you said it. Always choose the RaeSide. Okay, little treat here for you. For if you didn't know, every week after I do the end card, there's always a little post credit little cheeky thing. One of my greatest talents in life, like if someone was to ask you what's your secret talent, like if I was like, when they do that on like Jimmy Fallon, it's like, oh, do you have like a secret talent? This would be my secret talent. If this doesn't work, I'm going to be very ashamed that this is live on YouTube. I don't know what it is. I've got a piece of marshmallow here. Dang it. Hang on. Let me do it again. There we go. Second try. Catching food in my mouth, I feel like I'm very good at. Fun fact for you there. Enjoy your week. Thank you for joining. See you guys next time.